Okay, guys, so this conversation regarding the interest rate drop that just happened in June of 2024 is still going on. And this video, I really wanted to tackle it in a different way because I wanted to bring it from the perspective of what it means to you as a buyer, what it means to you as a seller, pretty much as a homeowner. What does this interest rate drop mean to you specifically? And break it down and really show you how this is going to affect you, how this increases your purchasing power, things like this. And if you're just sitting there, if you don't want to do anything, what does that mean to you as well? If you haven't watched the video that I did regarding the announcement by the Bank of Canada, watch it. The link is going to be in this video. It's very different to what we're going to do today, and I actually talked about it in that video as well. So today is going to be more catered to real estate specifically and more catered to you to be able to take this information at home and wherever you're watching this from and just break it down for yourself and be able to make a plan moving forward. So let's look at what we're going to cover in the video today. So we're going to be talking about buyers, and this are first-time home buyers, this are seasoned home buyers, and also we're going to be talking about owners. You might be wondering what I mean by this. These are owners who are not necessarily thinking about moving out of there. So I have clients like this who, when they purchase their home, they only purchase it for the purposes of finding a good place. They're not really interested in the appreciation. They're not really interested in the equity, taking money out of the house to do anything. They just want to stay there and they're comfortable staying there for 20, 25, 30 years. So those are the type of homeowners that I want to talk to. You're not really interested in whatever is going on today, and you probably have a fixed rate, and as I said, you're not interested in the investing side of things. The next people that I'll be talking here to is sellers. Now with sellers, you have to look at, for those who have the mortgage coming up, they're about to expire. This is within the next 90 days, 9 to 90 days. A lot of you are coming to some expiry dates, and what can you do with this? Some sellers really want to take advantage of the current situation with the market, with the interest rate drop. So how are we going to look at that as well? That this is also very situational, depending on the kind of seller that you are in or the kind of situation that you're in with your home, or where you could be in a situation where the interest rates have just been too much for you and you want to just get rid of the home and you want to either smart size, move into a smaller house and be able to sustain the payments, or you just want a break from all this and you just want to move on completely, or you also want to take advantage of being able to move into a much bigger house because now the interest rates have dropped. You're going to get enough equity from the selling of your home as well, and also as an investment purposes. So these are the three sections we're going to look at it. So now let's look at the buyers and how does this look and how does this break down. Now the first thing you have to see here, the interest rate dropped by 25 basis points, right? So that drop, what does this mean? And the first thing that I noticed here, your purchasing power as a buyer goes up immediately. That's the first thing that happens. Your monthly payment influences your purchasing price. So typically when you have this interest rate dropping by 25 basis points, so you'll find that today the prime rate, so depending on if you're getting a 5-year fixed, this has gone down to probably around 8-9%, where it was at 5% before. So this drop here has now dropped your monthly payment by around $100 to $200. And in turn, what that does, your purchasing power goes up by 30 to around 50,000. I'll show it to you here in a second here. So that purchasing power is a very positive thing for a lot of buyers coming into the market today. Then if you look at this, if your budget, I have an example. So I have an example here for you, is if your budget is $3,800 per month, let's say, and the interest rates have dropped by this 0.5 to 1% here, you'll see what this means is you could qualify for, let's say you qualify for an $800,000 property with a $3,800 a month. So this also depends on the deposit that you're putting in as well. So if you're doing a 20% to 25% deposit, or if you're doing a higher percent deposit, this monthly payment will also be influenced by this. But what I wanted to show you is, if this has dropped by, let's say, $100 to $200, this will increase your purchasing power by 30 to 50,000. So instead of you being qualified for $800,000. Now you'll have the ability to purchase a property at $830,000 to $850,000. So as a buyer, this gives you that more negotiation power going into a lot of these bids that you're going to incur coming into the summer right now. And this is a huge deal for a lot of buyers, and that's why you're seeing a lot more buyers coming into the market today. And if this interest rate drop keeps coming up, we have one coming up in July, we'll see another one coming up around in September as well. So if this keeps going down, you'll see this purchasing power also going up as well. So you'll see somebody who's able to qualify from 800 from the beginning of the year is now in a potential of being able to purchase a property around the 880,000. Now again, remember what I said, your monthly payments definitely influence your purchasing price. So you have to be very careful on how you're going at this. If you can sustain the monthly payments, then that's when you can look at the purchasing price. So approach it from this monthly payment point to be able to be in a position to get the purchasing price that you're in. So don't get too excited with that purchasing price going up to 900 and you can't afford the monthly payment. That's going to be very tough, which you're going to get into a situation that I'm about to talk about as well. Now, the next people that I have here, these are owners. So owners that don't necessarily interested in selling at all. Like you're comfortable with where you are. Probably the news about the interest rates, you watched it and you kept on going on with your life because you're like, I'm okay with where I am. I'm okay with how everything is, and I don't care about what's going on because you are on a fixed rate. But what I have here for you to see is both fixed and variable are affected if you're an owner. So if you're an owner on a fixed rate, you're still affected. And if you're an owner on a variable, you're definitely affected for sure. And how I mean by this, if you're an owner who does not want to sell at all and you are on a variable, your effect is happening immediately because you'll probably see the change in your next monthly payment when it comes. The next bill that comes in, you'll see the change in that monthly mortgage payment. If you're on a fixed, how this affects you is during renewal. So if you're on a fixed rate and you've been on a fixed rate for the last, let's say 3 to 4 years, you're probably sitting on an interest rate of around 1.89%, or you're in that 2 to 2.5% range. So if you're coming up for renewal in, let's say in 6 months time, then you'll see the rates at this time are going to be in and around that 4% to 4.8%. This is going to be a huge change. This is almost double the change you're about to incur. So if your monthly payment has currently been of, let's say $1,500, now you're about to incur a payment of around $3,500 to exactly $4,000. And this is going to be a significant change for you. You see? So this is things you now have to look at. Look at when your next renewal is coming up. Budget for this. See where you're going to get the extra. Because if your renewal is coming in 6 months time, you definitely want to look at it. If your renewal is coming in a year's time, I would say the banks and the interest rates are talking to come into that neutral rate of 3.5%. How long it's going to take to get to this? Probably is going to be another 18 months or more than 18 months. Who knows? But it's definitely not going to be at this rate before the end of this year. It's not going to be at this rate before next year's summer. So just make sure you look at when your renewal rate is coming up for you to be in a good position. And I have here an example of a loan at a variable. You'll have seen a new balance, as I mentioned. Your purchasing price was around 800,000, or your mortgage is 800,000, will have dropped from 6% to 5.87%. This is very dependent on obviously the kind of rate that you got at the time, or the kind of rate that you've been incurring. Actually, the year of when you got your mortgage, because some are sitting at 7%. I know some clients who were sitting at 7%, some who were sitting at 8%. So this drop to 5.8 is going to be very significant for them. So that's something to also look at. So you're saving around $100 to $200 on your next bill. Now, $100 to $200 might not feel like much, but I kid you not, as time goes into the rest of the year, because the thing about real estate, we get hit the first. where the interest rate drop. So you'll see gas prices could potentially start going down. When you're going groceries, it's not going to be as expensive. So this $100 starts trickling up to $300 to $400. Now that becomes a very huge change for you in your home on a monthly basis. So that is a huge positive for owners that are not interested in doing anything in today's market. It's selling, buying, invest, like you're comfortable with where you are. The next people that I really want to look at are the sellers. The sellers here, depending on your situation, there's huge positive that a lot of sellers can take on this market. The first thing that I have here is mortgage drop if you're on a variable. So I've already talked about this. So your mortgage is going to drop as if you're on a variable. And because of this, you'll now be in a position where you can either choose to do a refi, or you can either do a HELOC to take some funds out of your property to purchase another investment property per se. In this position right there as a seller as well, you're not in a rush to sell a home. You don't feel the pressure to accept whatever offer that comes your way, and you're going to get offers coming your way, but you're not going to feel the pressure to accept whatever offer that comes your way. You're going to see your properties now potentially not staying in the market for a very long time compared to what is happening towards the beginning of the year. Now, so you'll also see buyer confidence coming into the market. And this is a positive thing for you, because with buyer confidence, you're going to see a lot more firm offers. You're going to see a lot more multiple offers on the table. So you're going to come from, just recently we saw a property that I think 2 days ago was submitting an offer, and we had 21 offers on the table as well. So this is a huge buyer confidence that's coming into the market. When people are seeing in the news, people are seeing videos like this of us talking about the interest rate drop and what it means. So buyers are not going to stop shopping for mortgage. When you have more people shopping for mortgage, that creates a lot more demand that we're having. So where you take advantage on as a seller as well is the fact that supply is low. And this is for those sellers particularly that have a really good house. If you have a really good property, you have a really good home, and we know supply is very low in the greater Toronto area, and demand is as high as it is today, this is not going to increase the price. So this is just the law of supply and demand. So the price are going to go up because of the lack of properties in the GTA, and the demand that's going to come because of the buyer confidence, because of more buyers shopping for properties, for mortgages in the market, and getting good rates because of this. And in turn, multiple offers. Multiple offers is a seller's best friend. Now here is where you want to really master the marketing price. So if you really master this marketing price, and when you're talking to a good professional, they'll be able to help you understand this. The marketing price is a very key thing here, because it's going to bring in as many buyers to come and look at the property, and then in turn we'll get a lot more offers on the table. And with more offers on the table, typically you'll end up selling your home for at least $20,000 to $30,000 over its actual value, which is what you're looking for. So for sellers in this market, it's a very, very positive thing for you, where the drop of the interest rates, depending on your situation, of course, because now if you're in a position where you have to sell and then you're looking to purchase something else, this is where a good action plan is going to come out, and you have to make sure you're sitting in a really good plan as you're about to sell your home, because your home will sell. Now the biggest thing is now, what are you going to purchase? So that's something you have to really look at. Now, in summary of everything we just looked after, there's some things that we really need to look at for buyers. So other factors to consider as a buyer, you want to, and this also, it's going to fall into other as a seller as well. I always emphasize on an action plan before you do anything, because other factors are going to come in as the down payment, your approval. So before you get yourself out there to go and not start purchasing or start looking for houses and submitting an offer, make sure you have your approval done. Make sure you're clear on that monthly payment and you're comfortable with that monthly payment. Make sure you're clear on the plan that you have. Are you planning to buy a home and have a tenant down there? So what does that mean? Like, are you looking for a house that has a legal basement? And apply it from a worst case scenario. What if you don't have that tenant? Are you still going to be able to afford that payment? I always say have it and have it around 3 months in stock, that you could potentially not be able to pay anything, or something could happen in the family, and you have 3 months of monthly payments saved up somewhere. So a good action plan is important, and this is where you do a buyer consultation with myself. I have a link down here. You can schedule a time where we can get into a quick buyer consultation. We talk about your plan. We talk about how the buying process looks like, get familiar with it before we get out there and now start submitting offers, because you're going to come into a lot of multiple offers, and you want to make sure you're ready and you're confident to tackle this market, particularly if you're coming into multiple offer situations as well. For owners, what I'll say for owners who are not interested in selling, you're comfortable with where you are, you're happy with everything that's going on, what I'll suggest is you want to do a comparable market analysis. This is find out what your home value is. I typically do a comparable market analysis for all my clients, for all my past clients. If you bought, I do a yearly comparable market analysis to let you know what your value of your house is. So for you, it's very important to just get a good understanding. What's the value of your neighborhood? What's something new that's happening? What's going to increase the value of your neighborhood in the next year, 6 months, 2 years? Is there something significant coming up in your neighborhood? So what are some of the main things that are coming into the market, in your specific area, and what's going on with your house? Are you planning to do anything new? The kind of renovations you want to do, how is it going to affect the value of your home? So it's very important to look at that and have a clear plan. So once you've looked at the comparable market analysis, you're comfortable, guys. You're coming from a place of comfort. You're coming from a place of, I do not want to sell. I don't want to do anything. This is my home that I want to stay completely. I still suggest have an idea, have a plan. Have a plan with this in the sense of, when is your next renewal coming up? Just go and look at that. When is your next renewal coming up? And how does that look like for you? How much do you currently owe? Just look at your mortgage statement. If your mortgage statement does not show you how much you owe, just ask your mortgage broker, ask your bank, whoever's doing it for you, see how much you owe and do the calculations. If in 2 years' time, that's when your next renewal is going to come, do it from a 3%, put it in a mortgage calculator. 3%, what is your monthly payment going to be at that point? Are you going to be in a good position at that point, or what can you do to get ready for that new payment coming into that whole new renewal, and how long are you going to be doing it for? So that's what I'll suggest for a lot of homeowners. Then with sellers, same thing. You want to make sure you have a good action plan as a seller. Clearly, if you have a good home, you put your property up in the market today, it's going to sell. So this is what you do, the CMA as well, the comparable market analysis. Set your expectations to the current state of the market. Yes, the interest rates have dropped. So don't start expecting $100,000 over. Don't start expecting 2021 numbers. Set your expectations right. Have a clear action plan. But by a clear action plan here is, have a good understanding of, once you sell, where are you going to move to? So you want to make that plan from the end and make it backwards, as opposed to start by selling, get excited on how much you're going to get, and you sell, and then you start looking at the plan of, okay, where am I going to buy? That's the wrong way to go about it as a seller. You want to look at, where do I want to move to? Why do I want to move? That why has to be really good. Why do I want to move to location X? What's the value of the properties in that area? What are the properties sold in that area? Okay, they've sold for this amount. If I sold my house for this amount, how is that going to look? How is that transition going to look? What's the time frame? What if I have to get a bridge loan because there's complications on closing? If you did not set the right expectations on the selling side, and the buyer that's purchased your property buys it and they do an appraisal and they're not able to close on time, what's going to happen? You're the one who's going to incur with, obviously the buyer will have to do something to complete the transaction, but you're also going to go through the process of, you have to get a bridge loan. You have to get an extension. So all those things, you have to have a good action plan, whether you're smart sizing. Smart sizing is you're moving into something smaller. Look at your situation. Or if you're moving into something bigger, a bigger home for your whole family, look at that and make sure that's clear as well. And if you're approaching this as an investor, have a clear investment plan. So if you're taking a HELOC out and you want to buy a pre-construction unit, or you want to buy another home property, how does that look like? Make sure you understand the whole capital gain taxes that have just been introduced here recently. I did a video on that as well, so you're going to look at that. Make sure you have a good understanding of that. The kind of investment that you want. Are you just looking for appreciation? Are you just looking for passive income? So be clear on the type of investment you want to do, as opposed to just saying like, oh, I have all this equity now, I can take money out, then I'm going to buy this condo and I'm going to put a tenant in there. Typically that goes absolutely wrong. What you want to do is, I have this equity in here, I can take this amount. What can this get me? It can get me a condo. So if it gets me a condo, what condo will I get? What type of tenants am I looking for? And what's the time rate of this property? So how long is it going to appreciate? If I put $50,000 to purchase an investment, what are my expectations? Am I looking to double this? And if I'm looking to double this, how long will that doubling take? Is it going to take me a year? Is it going to take me 2 years? What's the worst case scenario? What's the expenses? So all those things, you really have to ask these questions and be very clear on a lot of this investment plans as a seller here. So this is all I have for you guys here today. Watch out for my next video. So for those who have not subscribed yet and you're getting a lot of value on this, please hit the subscribe button. And for those who are trying to reach out to me, you can always book an appointment with myself. You can send me a quick text if you can't just send me a quick text. My number is here. So then I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So until next time, have a good one, guys. Thank you.